So right now in the hospitality industry, when it comes to marketing, we have been relying on word of mouth going into the future, especially post-COVID. Influencers actually have started to take hold. Adonis, you are somebody who's been doing a lot of work with influencers here at FAO. Tell me, man, how's it been?
Overall, it's been a great experience. You know, it's definitely adding a lot more traction to our business as a whole, getting more eyes on the space, definitely making it a unique way to market versus our traditional ways of, you know, word of mouth, of guerrilla marketing, and moving into just flyers and different things like that to help promote the business. It's always nice to have individuals that enjoy your space, enjoy what you're doing as a whole, and then they want to share that experience because people want that real life experience. Of course, traditionally, you know, whenever most places bring out an influencer, they're kind of getting that best treatment, you know, so it's showcasing the best of that venue, where a lot of the times what we've experienced with some of our influencers coming in, it's just an organic, really truthful type of experience that everyone's going to experience. You know, they're really talking on camera, interacting with their guests and showcasing what they're doing as well. So that's been a major plus because it's the authenticity that's really grasping the greater majority and having them come in. So it's been great.
I mean, at the end of the day, authenticity and transparency is what's winning in marketing right now. And then having content creators who have already proven that they can execute on this type of content creation, then combined it with the in-person experience, I think is really what's been helping fuel a lot of what you're just saying right now. And then now we also are getting to this part where, yeah, the influencers are coming in, providing exposure, but now they're also using this as a place to bring the audience out in person to meet each other and meet themselves as well.
Very much so.
And so how has that been going now with these influencers who are now also hosting events? So they're creating the content, marketing the venue. Overall, content creation is a manual skill set, it's laborious, and then also now they're actually bringing people here too to help even also quantify, I guess, how good their marketing skills are.
Absolutely, you know, it's definitely a unique approach, and from what we're hearing from them is that, you know, their audience wants to try and meet them, and what better way to meet your audience is to kind of host an event that you can actually interact with them, show them who's really on the other side of the camera, just kind of. It's been beneficial in a lot of ways. Of course, it brings us some challenges because most of the time what they're doing is talking to the camera. There's really not a whole audience, so there are some cut and takes in there where, you know, whenever they get into the real life experiences, we're here to help navigate to make that a little bit simpler, just a little bit more organized in certain areas. Because, you know, we still are running a business at the end of the day, and you have to make sure that we're taking care of the business as a whole. Yes, you want to kind of let them freelance and express themselves as well. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're showing up and delivering as we do. And if you're a venue that is prideful of what you're doing and making sure that you're doing the hospitality of things, it shouldn't be too difficult. Of course, you just kind of navigate and get them directed in the right way, and they're appreciative, and then they can hopefully host more events, you know.
And when you're these influencers, obviously they're always using TikTok or Threads, Instagram, they're in the DMs messaging everybody, but they're able to kind of like silo each one of those individual conversations versus you got an event, now you got 50 to 100 people here all trying to talk at the same time, and then now you're also trying to coordinate the event, trying to coordinate what the host is doing, when the DJ is going on, when the microphone is going on. And I know even with some of the events you guys have here, that's been helping some of the influencers because you guys also have the games, which kind of can help keep people occupied as this person gets a chance to go around and socially navigate the room. So I'm really gung-ho on really using the hospitality industry as a way to start using the content creation industry to start merging together as new revenue opportunities. Now, you say there are some challenges when it comes to that. Let's touch on that. What are some of the challenges when it comes to trying to work with influencers, maybe from a content creation marketing standpoint to also just the event planning and integration standpoint?
A lot of times because they've done the legwork, and I give them all their props to, you know, doing the content and all those things. But whenever we're orchestrating a business, you know, you still have to maintain certain protocols and making sure that you're maintaining the flow of what you do, because you don't want to take away from, you know, someone else's experience that may happen to come in on these things, and it's just kind of a one-off type of thing. But we're really focused on making sure that we can kind of ease some of that stress. Like you said, the games do help out to kind of give them an outlet for people to kind of take the pressure off of them, so they can kind of regroup on those things. And helping them being a little organized has been a big beneficial, I feel like, on our end to help them out. Maybe having all the pieces that they may have ended up missing, from just chargers and just outlets and
tape.
Yeah, just those small
Tables.
things that can be neglected, not by intention, but just not really having that expertise and just kind of been able to have done it before. So I think with working with us, yes, it's definitely a luxury because we're easygoing in how we approach things. So, but we've thought of all those things before. I mean, me and my business partner, like I said, we've been in this industry for 15 years plus each, to where we've already been able to navigate through all the event planning, to where now we're just trying to help someone else execute their dream or whatever it may be, to where that's been an easygoing aspect of that. But like I said, there's still some challenges here or there with it.
And then on the content creation side, I know you've been working with agencies strictly on people coming here creating content. Talk about what that process is like.
This has definitely become a new trend. We're having more marketing companies that are saying that, hey, we can help supply some influencers, and it's attractive, but you really have to pick and choose who you're going to end up working with on those things, because it is something that is a trendy topic, so you don't want to just keep throwing in dollars on those things and then not seeing the real return. And that can be frustrating and sometimes, but if you're making sure that you're showing up on whatever it is you need to be doing, and delivering, to make sure that you take care of those content creators or those influencers and engaging in them. Don't expect them just to do all the legwork. You have to interact with them to make sure that you're also letting them know what product you want to be putting out too, so it's displayed on that content too. You can't just rely on them to come in, do their thing, and then leave. You have to still navigate them into what you want, especially if you're paying those dollars. It is a little uncomfortable sometimes to be.
And let's dive in there. So how are you going about making a decision in the moment if it's worth it? And then at the end of it, how do you determine if it was worth it? Because obviously a video doesn't translate to dollars right away. Obviously you can't see what video brought in what customer, but how are you kind of like gauging when you go into it and when you come out of that situation?
I think the first step is to make sure that you're actually communicating with the company in itself, not just through email. Actually having video calls to hear what they have to offer, where they've seen some, get some analytics behind it too. Yes, I don't understand it all, but the more you talk about it and talk with them about it, they can show you what they've been able to see, the trends. Of course, views, they're great, but the interactions and all those things, that's what's really going to help, make us feel a little bit more easier where our dollar's going, because we're not perfect at this, and we've experienced some times where it just didn't work out, and it can deteriorate you from actually wanting to do it again. But with anything, you got to spend a little money to make money as well. We can't just rely on our own things, and unless you're going to go out there and do all the content yourself to try and do it, which that's a whole nother aspect of it too. So you have to also respect, what they do and how they go about it, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Make sure that you're engaging in what they're doing and talking to the people at the top of why they decided to do these things, how they're going about it. Getting more of that information and having more conversations with more companies will definitely help you understand it a lot more too.
And I definitely agree that the content creation itself is a job. Somebody has to do it. As a bar owner, venue manager, you can't possibly do it at the volume that some of these content creators who can just spit out content to an already warm audience. Absolutely. But that's why I'm starting to definitely get into the position of like, let's get these content creators to start also hosting events, because I think at the end of the day, if they start transitioning to that mindset, then they can end up making more money in the long run.
Absolutely.
Like, we've had some success to partner up on Speedrailz, where ultimately I was a content creator that ended up launching an event concept. And then from there, we've been able to kind of track exactly when the video goes off to tickets being bought or maybe people signing up. And so I think kind of like as managers of these venues start kind of taking on these processes, they can start passing along to different influencers, and then now we can start getting more of these ambassadors in the community? Because at the end of the day, these bartenders aren't becoming content creators.
No,
Some of them are.
Some of them are, but it's like you said, it is a whole job in itself to be able to do these things. It's time consuming, and it can weigh on you. And ultimately, you can't work on just one part of your business. You have to delegate and try and work with things, but you also have to be in tune with those parts of the business as well, to where you can't neglect it, because just opening your doors aren't going to just get people in the door. You got to provide an experience, and who else to help provide that experience outside of using a content creator or some sort. It is just the ways of the world. There's always going to be innovation and change in these things, and you have to be willing to accept those things as you evolve if you want to be around for the long haul. And I think too many times with how we've in the past orchestrated businesses, you want to be on a one-track mind, I know it all type of thing. Well, that's not the case. Be willing to learn, be willing to open up yourself to these people that are trying to help you out too. Don't get me wrong, there's some people that are that don't know what they're doing and just kind of jumping in for a trendy thing, but ultimately just kind of ask more questions, because there's not really a right question, but just ask more questions to see where their intentions are at the end of the day.
And these content creators, they're coming in creating pretty much the same type of content over and over again, but luckily they do have the audiences that make them warm. But then you have somebody like FAO, which we had a chance to do a media day the other day, where you guys have 40,000 followers on Instagram. So you guys already have a warm audience too. So us getting together and getting a chance to really highlight the staff members, getting a chance to get them sit down, share their stories, because I think the staff members are also part of the product process. Like, yeah, I'm coming in for a drink, but I'm also coming in to see so-and-so. So I believe having the staff members involved in the content does wonders for venues, and not only does it possibly help bring people in for the first time, but if they see their bartender popping up again on their feed, they're reminded of the good time they had, so they get back in here. Pictures, I think always taking pictures of the venue is really good to communicate the value of the venue to event planners, because you guys had some people come in from out of town who are booking events here.
I mean, that's the thing. People have to realize there's a lot of people in this world that someone's going to see something new about your place. Yeah, it may be something that you've done before, but even resurfacing an old video and those things, it's going to reach someone else's a new eye. And that's what we have to think about. You can't just be relying on just the regulars and all those things. We have a lot of people that come in that are Houston natives that don't realize that we're about to approach our 4-year anniversary. And it's a good and a bad feeling, because like, man, how come you haven't heard about us? But at the same time, it's like, okay, we're still reaching into new people that are around the neighborhood that are like, man, maybe I can do something here. To where, yes, it'll get redundant in what you ended up doing, but that's what success is all about. You're doing the boring things over and over and over and over again. So us being able to reach out to other influencers, they have a whole other market of people that they get to reach out to, that get to see our page and see something new. But like you said, now we're trying to integrate the staff a little bit more to make sure and people see who's behind the operations, who's going to be serving those drinks, because now that we've gotten really out of the COVID situation and there are just businesses that are relying on just what they offer as a whole, being able to interact and for people to get that true hospitality of interaction before they even walk in the building, because our staff's not going to put out, whenever they're talking on camera, that's who they are, and that's what you're going to get. It's not just a fake time of a front to kind of get you in the door. No, whenever you come in, they're interactive like that, just like themselves, because like I said, that's the authenticity, and that's just back to getting to hospitality in itself, taking care of the guests.
Because nowadays, you just can't post some close-up shot reels of some girls who don't ever come there or work there, or of your drinks that never come out looking like that, and thinking that people are going to fall for that. Now people are being very careful with how they spend their money and their time.
Very careful with it.
And they can kind of sense your work ethic through how you market yourself. If they see you out there working hard to communicate your vision and your message, they are more likely to pull up. They're more likely to come and approach you with some big vision or plan. That's what the big checks are. People who got like these intricate moving pieces in it.
Very much so. And there's a lot of people that are building beautiful spaces. They're great spaces, but there are people that just aren't delivering on the actual hospitality part of it, to where that's going to get called out a little bit more, especially now that people are, experiencing more than what they were before, to where now we're going to get back to what the root of this business is, which is hospitality. So our job is to, as FAO, is we want to start putting ourselves out there a little bit more and showing that on social media that this is the type of experience you're going to get. So whenever you get here, it's not a fall off by any means.
I definitely think how we've been building this platform out is really just communicating how the hospitality industry could evolve and communicating what you do operationally as a form of marketing. Because at the end of the day, we all want to do business with experts. And so I think by having the people in the hospitality industry talk about what they do, they come off as experts, which gives the customers more confidence in their ability, and it makes the customer want to invest in the business ongoing. And so ultimately, we really are putting out these interviews right here. You're going to start seeing other industry leaders that we get a chance to talk to and showcase. And with this conference, Craft Class 2025, that we got going into June, we're putting together a collective called the TAP, the Training, Advancement, and Performance. Just the industry collective, starting out here in Houston, definitely getting other cities involved once we build out the framework here. And so what do you think us communicating like this out in the open about these industry revelations, how is that going to probably help out the industry?
Overall, I think it's going to be able to showcase the ones that have been doing it for years, that really care about the industry. I mean, it's going to highlight those individuals to help the younger generations have a real understanding of what it's going to take to actually be a successful business, because unfortunately, there are some people in this that have been doing this for years that aren't getting, their businesses aren't getting the love that they probably should be. And because they care about it and they're passionate about it and all those things, but they aren't evolving with some of the new ways of doing things. So hopefully with TAP, we can kind of bring those people together to showcase them a little bit more of what, should be happening and actually the hospitality part of things. Can't stress enough of what the root of what we got to get back to in this industry. Yes, we all want to make money. It's going to be the vehicle to do more and more things, but ultimately we need to be taking care of the guests and giving them more of a welcoming experience, really touching to that emotional, because there's something about not only just the food, the drinks, the ambience, all those things have to collectively be working together to really have a great venue. But unfortunately, sometimes people are just more attracted to the flashy thing. So it's kind of taken away some of the experience. But hopefully with TAP, we're here to make sure that we're showcasing and bringing that back to what the industry is,
And so these industry TAP, we're going to be covering all of that, not only touching on it from an umbrella perspective, but even touching on the how to do it, how to assess how we're doing it, and really highlighting people who are doing it well. So go to craftclass.com, sign up, and figure out a way for you to participate or maybe attend the workshops. I have a group chat called the Rails Chat. If you ever want to pop in there, if you're somebody out in Wyoming or Maryland or Africa, you're trying to get some questions or some insight, go to the Rails Chat. If you pop in there, ask a question, I will figure out who to answer it. But other than that, I think we're good.
Yeah, for sure.
Another podcast in the books. Peace.